welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all doing well. I am back on the botanical epoxy resin in this video. Check out this brand new mold from Moulds and Shapes. Absolutely gorgeous. It is a huge watering can wall hanging, and as soon as I got it, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. So here is a close-up. It is so gorgeous and chunky. It is just summer. It screams gardening and summer shed. It would be beautiful in a summer house or conservatory out of direct sunlight. It's got two huge holes here that you can hang it up as a wall plaque, and it's just beautiful. So immediately I knew I wanted to put some flowers in there, and these flowers were sent to me by Kari, one of my patrons. You would have seen these as well in the Crystal Tower mold. So I figured I'm going to do some flat work. What I did was actually press those flowers. So the flowers were really still quite chunky. So I did actually press them for 2 days under a pile of books to make them as flat as I possibly could. And in this video, I'm going to be using Vista Turbo, purely for speed, because Vista Turbo cures after 5 hours, which means I can get both layers of this one piece done within a single day. So the first thing for me to do was to lay down a clear layer of resin just to be able to place those flowers in. Now I've done it in the past where I've done the coloured background first and placed the flowers on top before putting clear, but I felt like this way was going to just be easier and give me so much more fun and room to play, and really no rhyme or reason. I just decided to do it this way round. I then used my heat gun to make sure there was not a single air bubble in sight. The next thing for me, I have sped this up for you guys because this took a solid 20-25 minutes to actually arrange all of the flowers and leaves and pieces in the places that I wanted them to. And honestly, it was just so much easier for me to do this with a gloved hand. So of course I've got my nitrile gloves on anyway, and it was just easy for me to get messy. Easier for me to get messy than to really try and do it neatly with tweezers or some placement tools that you can place your items down in. So much easier to just get in there with gloves on your hand, get messy and not worry about it. It really gave me the freedom to be able to move everything around, and trust me, that is why this section is sped up, because I spent so long trying to place these things down and place the leaves down and all of the flowers that it just moved around that many times, and I changed direction that many times. I was going to leave the top of the watering can clear because I just felt like it would be perfect for some vinyl decal afterwards, like with the background on it and everything. I could then put some vinyl decal on the front at the top. But honestly, once I started laying down all the flowers and the leaves, I just loved it. It was giving me like explosion, summer explosion, when all the flowers just all come out at once and you've got this absolutely gorgeous flowery garden. And it was also giving me like summer tablecloth vibes. So at that point I was like, actually I'm just gonna pack them all in and not leave any gaps and not worry about vinyl decal and not worry about having to use my Cricut at all. I decided to just pack it completely in there, and I am so happy I did. So here is a close-up of all of the placement. Now, I made sure that I put flowers up and in around the handle and up to the very tip of the spout, and I'm so honestly happy. It is a little bit clearer at the top, but I still don't think it's clear enough for any vinyl decal, so I did put that out of my mind. This was about 6 hours later. I came back in just to see, and there was definitely some flowers and twigs that were higher than I'd want them to be, so I just kind of felt it all over with my hands to get rid of any loose bits that are gonna be protruding out of the top of the back layer once I pour it. And there were anyway. So all of my effort, I mean, I did put the effort in to get rid of what I could feel mostly, but there still was. It's okay. It's perfectly okay. Now this is where my patrons really saved me, because I did not know what colour to do the background. I asked them over on my Patreon page, black or white. Do I do black or white background? I'm always a lover of black, but I really wanted something, so, you know, I wanted somebody to make the decision for me in a way. And I'm so glad they chose white, because deep down I was thinking, please choose white. They actually, in the majority, chose a white shimmer. Now, I don't really have any white shimmer. So that was my like, oh guys, I don't have any white shimmer. What I did have was white mica powder, but it was very creamy. And I knew it was very cream. Now, this is actually called Cotton White by Arteza, but it really was still quite creamy. So I wasn't happy with the darkness of it. I really wanted white, so I did add in some of the Vista pigment, and I also added in some white iridescent glitter. I figured this would make it quite shimmery, and I was really looking forward to the results. And of course, glitter often sinks in resin, especially if you don't leave the resin to sit for too long. It sinks, so I knew that that would come through on the front. And yeah, so thank you so much to my patrons for taking that choice and making that decision for me, because sometimes I need a kick. I need a bit of a kick in the right direction, and I'm so glad that you all made that decision for me, because deep down I was hoping you'd say white. I didn't think that black was very summery, you know, like how I did the botanicals back in January, February. There's a lot of black background. Yeah, so white it was, and oh my goodness me. You can already see here as I'm pouring the white resin in that yes, I do have some pieces that were too high and higher than the mold, but really this is not a big deal. You can just sand these off afterwards. Now this is the next morning. I did leave it till the next morning, even though you could get this done in a day. I left it until the next day just to make it super solid and yeah, make sure it was all okay. Absolutely loving the reveal. Does anyone still get really excited when they demold? Because you just don't know. You don't know. You don't know if it's going to be packed with air bubbles. You're hoping that none got trapped underneath. And yeah, so happy. I also feel like in hindsight's a wonderful thing, but looking at it right now, I also feel like gold foil would have gone really prettily in here, or silver foil even would have made it even better. But you know me, sometimes I don't know when to stop and I just feel like I need to keep adding. But look at this, guys, not a single air bubble. Honestly, I don't even know the name of half of these flowers that Kari, my patron, sent me. But the purple fluffy things, the purple fluffy things is the only way I could describe them. If anyone knows what they're called, oh my gosh, they are beautiful. They're almost like bushes of cotton and silks and things. We know, we know that Claire can't stop there, don't we? We know. I did decide to add some temporary tattoos into the mix. Now, if you remember my botanical series back in January, the tattoos brought everything to life. What I didn't want to smother the piece. I just wanted some temporary tattoos where we've got some gaps, where we've got some spaces and some clear white space where we'd see the tattoos. That's where I just thought if I just add them in, then definitely not going to take away from the piece at all. They're just going to add a little bit of detail. So as you're looking at it hanging on your wall, you kind of see these really subtle temporary tattoos that have been placed in as well. Of course, adding the tattoos does mean that we need to now give this a top coat, which is perfectly fine. All you have to do is add the temporary tattoos as if you would to your skin. If you've not been here before, then I'm just letting you know these are for skin. They work perfectly in epoxy resin and Jesmonite, of course. And look at this. Oh gosh, I love them. Again, they're not taken away from the flowers. They're not covering up the flowers. You can see perfectly well through them and you can see the depth in them. But I just think they add a different dimension and a different viewpoint so that when you're kind of staring at it, you can really see some extra detail in there. A little bit of extra thought and a little bit of extra detail. So I just peeled off all of the tattoos and I really love the one on the bottom left more than the others. I think the others do get a bit lost. They do get a bit lost. Don't regret putting them on. I could have scrubbed them off quite easily, but this one here particularly I think gets a little bit lost because the tattoo is so subtle, so subtle. But yeah, still happy with my choice to put them on and just add a little something because look at this. Oh, it reminds me of that giant tray that I made as well. Absolutely love it. The next step for me then is to add a coat of the liquid latex to the back of the watering can. I know I did a test and I did say that I would be using PVA glue from now on, but I'd forgotten all about that. When it came to this, I literally grabbed the latex, poured it on, and it was at this point I was like, oh wait, didn't I say I was going to use PVA glue because it was so much easier. But that's how far my memory goes, and I ended up using the liquid latex. Of course, liquid latex is a dream to work with as well. It doesn't pour over the edges. It's really easy. It doesn't self-level like epoxy resin. So it's really, really easy just to cover the whole back with latex. And once I'd covered the whole back, it was just a case of leaving this to dry. Now, this did take a while, so I actually left this overnight and came back. Don't worry about the air bubbles, they will not impact it. So for the top coat, I am using Vista Rapids. This is their top coating resin, and it is a 2-to-1, same as most of their resins. And I mixed it thoroughly, and then I started to pour. Now, the reason I'm putting latex on the back is so that if any resin does drip off the sides and goes in and under the back, it won't destroy the back. I won't have to sand it down. It's just a time-saving tool. And my intention was to top coat this really, really neatly, not allowing any to go over the sides. Bring it to the edges super slowly. Resin, when used correctly, won't go over the edge. It has this natural knowing where the edge is, and it won't go over. The only reason it will go over is if you've poured too much on. So I poured too much on and it flew over the edges like you wouldn't believe. So I ended up having to do a flood coat, which was fine because I knew I'd already protected the back. And here it is. Here is the result. I absolutely love it. Oh my gosh, this resin, super shiny. This is, of course, about 7 hours later. No, it's not. No, it's not at all. It's the next day because this is not turbo. This is the next day, and it's time to peel off that latex back. Now, you can see where all the drips are. They are just coming off like a dream with the latex. Now, somebody did mention this to me in previous videos. If you do have a latex allergy, or if anyone that you are selling to, if you are selling your items, make sure that you don't use latex because people might have a latex allergy. You could also thoroughly wash the back to make sure there's no residue of latex left, but also put it on your website that you do use latex to back your pieces when top coating, just to be safe if you are actually a business and you are selling your pieces. And yeah, works perfectly. I decided to finish it off with some gorgeous white ribbon. Now, if I had pink or purple ribbon, I think I would have opted for pink or purple, but actually this gorgeous delicate white ribbon works just as well, and this will look absolutely beautiful hanging on the wall. Well, I hope you've really, really loved this. Honestly, this was one of those projects that are quite, you can get lost in, because it took me so long to place the flowers, and it's just so relaxing. This kind of resin is just so relaxing, and you get lost, and it's a little bit therapeutic when you do things like this, because you're just free. You're free to just do what you want with all of the pieces that you got and take your time. So yeah, I hope you absolutely love this. I'm obsessed with this mold. Like, I really, really love this mold and the possibilities as well. Imagine like creating something like this for your loved ones who love to garden, and you could put so much detail on there with the cricket, and yeah, I really, really love it. Hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will see you all. Oh, don't forget to give me that like. Why am I so rubbish at saying that? Don't forget to hit that like button, and also if you're still here, then you might as well hit the subscribe button because it is free and you're still here, which means you want to be. So yeah, I really appreciate you all, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.